Welcome to Empowerment Radio. My name is Dr. Friedemann, and I'm so glad that you decided to join me. Empowerment Radio is about giving you the insights, tools, and solutions to address some of the most challenging aspects of our daily lives. So sit back, relax, and empower yourself. Welcome back to Empowerment Radio. I'm here with my guest, Jaya Jaya Myra, and we are talking about New Year's resolutions and how to make them work and how to just really keep on growing and moving forward without letting yourself be deflated. Now, one of the things about New Year's resolutions I find so interesting is how to pick the right one. How do you really know which resolution to focus on? So Myra, do you have any suggestion for that?
Absolutely, I do. I think the right resolution is something that when you think about it, it makes you feel good, or as Marie Kondo would say, it sparks joy. If you think about something, it literally should make you happy. If it feels like it's going to be an uphill battle, like, ugh, I got to go do this, that is not something you should be putting as your New Year's resolution. It's something you should focus on during the year, but don't make it a resolution. Because whenever you make a resolution and then you're not able to keep it, you're going to be harder on yourself. You're going to feel like you failed more. So pick resolutions that are easier for you to stick with because you enjoy them. Anytime you enjoy something or you're happy about it, you literally have more energy, more motivation, more oomph to get it done. So stick with something positive that makes you feel good, and you're going to be much more inclined to be successful with that and keep it.
But see, this is the hard part, I think, for a lot of people because they're picking the problems as their solutions.
Yeah. That's what most everyone does. It's a total shift in the way you're thinking about it. It's like you got to start thinking about, hey, what can I do to make me feel good, as opposed to what should I be doing to make me feel good?
That's right.
There's two
Now
different things.
let's say, for example, someone says, I need to lose 50 pounds. My knees are aching. I have pre-diabetes, and my doctor always frowns when he sees me. That doesn't feel necessarily immediately good to think about, oh, I have to change my diet, or I have to work out more, or I have to do something that I really don't want to do because it seems like a lot of hard work. So how do you shift from focusing on those 50 pounds that feel like climbing Mount Everest to actually having the same goal, but having it in a frame that makes you feel good?
Well, I've actually been using the Noom app for this last year, which is about sustainable weight loss. And even it talks about focusing on the things that you can do and not the ones that you can't do. It's more of a positive mindfulness strategy. I
Yeah.
actually did have a goal of losing weight last year. I've lost over 20 pounds and I've kept it off. I've been like no yo-yoing or anything. And it's always about these small, sustainable things that you can do each and every day. So really, if your goal is to lose weight, maybe focus on what you can do that's going to help you reach that goal. Make it more actionable and attainable. Maybe that's getting in your steps every day. Walking is great for weight loss. Keeping your heart rate down in that fat burn range and not in the cardio range is a great way to do that. So walking is wonderful. What else can you do? As long as you're happy, you're going to stay more active. We tend to get bogged down mentally, like the more that we're sitting still or sitting at a desk. So getting up, moving around, being more active, those things are going to help you no matter what your resolutions are. It gets your energy flowing, keeps you happy. And one of my favorite things to do is to incorporate foods into your diet that are going to help to stimulate neurotransmitter production in the body. So we need healthy neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin and norepinephrine so that you have energy and motivation and so that you feel relaxed and not stressed out. If you're stressed out or you're anxiety prone, you're not going to be able to keep those goals. So eat foods that are going to support that right biochemical pathway and process in the body that you're going to be getting all those happy, feel good hormones that you need to succeed.
And I think, that's such a good advice, that this idea of looking at something that makes you happy gets you much further than looking at that what's still not there where you want to be. And for that, I think it's also seeing the progress that you're making. I think a lot of New Year's resolutions get tossed by the wayside because we become impatient and we are feeling like, well, I'm still not there and it's so hard. And it's like a one goal. It's like an all or nothing. Either I gonna get the 50 pounds less, or I gonna reach,
Yeah.
the goal of, spending less time on social media. And as soon as we are falling back, or as soon as we don't see progress, we feel like, oh, it's not working. And we don't see the incremental progress we are making. And we are also not necessarily focusing on how good it already can feel to make those little progresses. And I
Oh,
think that's
absolutely.
how we are unfortunately often raised.
Well, and I think a part of the problem is that we see it as an end goal, kind of like a shallow, hollow thing. Like we don't actually befriend it. If you befriend something, you have to make it a construct and a whole entity that you're nurturing with love. Like becoming friends with something. Think about anything that you have a goal that you need to become friends with it. If you're friends with it, you're going to nurture it and love it and support it. If it's not something that you're friends with, if it's a goal that you haven't been able to attain, you're probably scared of that goal. And so you're going to keep it at a distance. And anything that you keep at a distance, you're much less apt to give the energy that you need to it in order to succeed. So think about it in terms of like a living, breathing entity or structure that you need to make like your BFF if you want to be successful.
That's beautiful. And I like to tell people also that it's a good idea to really own the goal as something that is about you giving back to yourself. When
Oh,
we are
absolutely.
saying like, I want to be healthier, I want to be more fit, I'm committing to going earlier to bed, I'm committing to going to the gym. All of those things are kind of almost like something that we cannot relate to if we never done it, and so it feels
Right.
something outside of you. It feels more intangible because we don't own it. But if we are saying every time I go there, every time I do something, I actually see this as a sign of self-love, of a sign of I respect myself, I care about myself, and give myself this gift of that time spent. Then we are also, like you said, befriending the goal and we are owning it, and we're making it much more easier a part of our daily happiness than as something that we just have to check off and with gritted teeth get through.
Absolutely. And anytime you can make it personal to your experience, this is why I love working with five elements. Elements correspond to your senses of like smell, taste, sight, touch, and hearing or sound.
Mm.
So whenever you think like, hey, you gave the goal about let's get a better night's sleep, let's go to bed early. So the end goal is to sleep better. How is that going to affect me in my day-to-day life? So say you wake up the next morning and you feel rested. What does that mean for those sensory perceptions? Does it mean like you're going to be less stressed out? So like you're less fidgety, that you're going to be able to be more focused and clear in what you're doing, that you're not going to go and eat everything in sight and be as hungry because you don't have anxiety and you're not exhausted and you're trying to get nourishment and energy because you didn't get the energy from sleep where you should. Start relating it to how it's making your life better and focus on that tangible feeling that you get from it. That's going to make it more real, more concrete. And you're going to remember that the next time you're confronted with, do I stay up and watch like another episode of the show, or do I go to bed now and get the sleep that I need?
Now, how do you deal with the conflict? You had mentioned the conflict you had between being a dutiful science or research scientist who wants to do a good job, and at the same time feeling like this is not for me at all, and this is actually really completely wrong what I'm doing. Now, a lot of people have conflicts with their New Year's resolutions, where
Yeah.
on the one hand they want to change, but then there is something that says no, don't change. If I had clients that told me honestly that they are afraid of losing weight because there is a part of them that says once I lose weight, I'm getting too much attention, unwanted attention.
Mhm.
Or when I stop smoking, I don't have any minute for myself anymore. This 5 minute of being outside and finally being able to shut off all the people around me, that feels so good. I don't want to give it up. So how do you deal with that conflict?
I think it relates to one of the cornerstones of my well method, which is to look at things from a place of love instead of fear. So it's very easy to make a fear based projection of what we think might or could happen if we reach goals. Like you said, I don't want to lose weight because if I do, I'm going to get unwanted attention. Well, you might
Mhm.
also get wanted attention. You're definitely going to feel better physically. You're going to have more focus and clarity. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be more productive, and you're probably going to feel better about yourself. Getting unwanted attention is nothing in comparison to all the positives that you're going to get out of that experience as well. So when the mind only goes to the negative, it's only thinking about like one or two or three negative possibilities instead of all of the things that are actually positive about a particular situation. And also, you don't know that the negative thing you're thinking is going to come to pass. Maybe it's based on a past experience, but past is not indication of what the future is going to bring for you. You're a new person, you change your psyche and energy every day. It doesn't mean that because this was the way it was before, that that's how it will be in the future, or because this happened to your friend, that it's going to happen to you. So I think it's about looking at a situation in terms of what are the best possible outcomes and what do you want, and focusing more on that. Because the more positivity that you're cultivating, you're going to be able to deal with whatever negative situations come to you anyway, and it's not going to be that difficult.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes we just have to acknowledge that there is something deeper underneath. That there is, like
Yeah,
you mentioned, there may be a trauma, like it was in your case, your healing path,
yeah.
that needs to be resolved, or there may be things that I'm working with, core limiting subconscious beliefs that are just saying change is bad, you being beautiful is dangerous, you getting what you want is not what you deserve. There can be beliefs that are just trying to
Oh yeah.
stay in our lives by holding us back from taking the steps that could really make a big difference.
Well,
And
that's the way you've wired your brain to think. So those neurons are wiring and firing together. It's going to take energy to create new neural connections in the brain. It takes effort. Those neurons don't want to like stop wiring and firing together. Like that's what they've been trained to do. So it's normal to not want to change. The mind craves consistency, even with whatever you're consistent with is not good for you or not in your best interest. It just knows that this is what it's been doing and this is what it wants to keep doing. So
right.
whenever you're trying to adapt something new, it's not going to feel good and it's not going to feel comfortable and it's not going to give you the warm fuzzies immediately, even if it's something that's good for you. But when you stay consistent with it, you will start to get those warm fuzzies just because you've been consistent.
When we come back, we will talk about what can you do when you actually drop the ball? What can you do when you feel like, well, I tried it so many times. Again, I let myself down. Again, I'm a failure. How can you get back up and try again in a way that actually you do feel good about yourself and you gain more confidence in yourself? So stay tuned. We'll be right back.